Okay, my name's Zakashi, guys, and in this video here I'm bringing you guys best teams and equipment, guys. And for this one here, we've got the new Mega Rising banner with Trunks and Cell, but this video here is for Cell. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video, man. Press the subscribe button. We are on this grind to 50,000 subscribers. I'm not going to hold you guys up any longer in this video. Let's get into it. Now, I don't have Cell, the new Cell, so I'm actually going to use this Revival Cell as a placeholder. So if you do have him, just anywhere I put this Cell, this Revival Cell, just imagine you have the new second form transforming Cell. Is very important to note because people are going to be like, that's not the right Cell. I know. Okay, so with this new second form transforming Cell, what's good to note is that he's actually a melee type, so you might want to actually build the team so that it's actually leaning towards strike arts more than anything else to get the most out of him. So here I've got this regen team, and what's really good about this Cell is that Cell is an android, but at the same time he's regeneration, so you can actually fit on both teams, and regeneration is actually a mix of androids and regen as well, so that also just helps build the team, meaning that he can actually get double Zenkai buff. So if we look at this Cell here, he actually Zenkai buffs red regeneration, which the second form Cell will obviously have at both of his tags. He's the color red, and he will also be on regen naturally. In this team I'm looking at his regen. We've also got android free to play 21, has Z ability buffs regen, and then on top of that, the Zenkai buff red and android, which is also going to benefit Cell. So double Zenkai buffing him is definitely the way to get good results out of him. Then over here, I've obviously got Cell leader. I've got a Zenkai buff for Zamasu. Zamasu's a regeneration member, thankfully, as well, so that's also a good benefit. If we look at his Z ability, it's actually very useful because he actually buffs regeneration as well. So even though the Z abilities, you can see they're kind of like spreading towards blast, it's not that big of a deal because he's got a double Zenkai buff, which is also helping him. And instead of the Piccolo, I've put this Slug because he actually gives strike attack, which is actually very beneficial to Cell because he's obviously a melee type. So the other option I was talking about, Piccolo, if you don't have Slug, you could use this Piccolo here. His Z ability is only blast attack, but he gives this basically the same Zenkai buff. So it's just a substitute I'm showing you there. And then I already told you I got Cell on the leader slot. For Green 21 as a substitute, you could actually use her because there are a lot of dangerous blues in PvP. Beast Gohan, 17, Zamasu, who's even on this team right here. But this Green 21 Zenkai buff, Green Android, nobody's gonna really get that, to be honest. But the Z ability, thankfully, is regeneration for both offenses, which is dope. What you can do, because he's actually on the leader, so he's gonna get all the extra bits where it says like "and," you know, that you wouldn't usually get unless you specifically fit that criteria. But if you want to swap out 21, you could actually easily have Margin Boot good here. He gives defenses, and then he also gives a Zenkai buff. Again, the same thing, green, but not Andre's regen. Doesn't apply to anybody, but the Z ability, if you wanted to go more of a defensive route, you actually could do that as well. Just an option if you wanted to swap out the Z ability. It's good to mention. I believe this Piccolo, same deal as well. If we look at his Z ability, similar thing, strike defense, and then the Zenkai buff, not going to anybody as well, just to point it out. So yeah, this is probably what I'd go with because this 21 is actually very usable. This 21 here is actually very usable. Zamasu is obviously clear on the team, it's very usable, but the team's about Cell, but Cell would be your leader slot option, so he's getting the double Zenkai buffs here, and he's getting all the Z abilities and even the ones with the and requirements, which is actually the main focus of the team, so that he can actually get the most output that he could get. So this is what I'd build if I was using regen. I know a lot of regen mains are going to start creeping out. You could also, just to sprinkle in, if you didn't want to go for a double Zenkai buff, or if you didn't want a Zenkai buff Zamasu, which I still think you should, you go for a HP buff. I feel like a HP buff is very useful. You see this Android 21 Evil regeneration here, 20%. I feel like that would actually help you a lot. But if you wanted to switch it around a bit, if you wanted to get a lot more health, you could actually make the team slightly future. So what you could do, if you're not going to use this 21, you could leave her there. But if you're not going to use this one, you can leave it there. But either one, which one you're not going to use less, you put one of them on the leader slot, right? So the one you're going to use more, you put them on the leader slot, sorry. So if I'm going to use this 21, for example, I'd put her on the leader slot. Now, because these two here are future, I could put EX Mai on the bench or something, and that's way more not EX Mai, SP Mai, because she gives a bigger HP buff for future. But if 21's on the leader slot, for example, she'd actually get the HP buff as well. So let me actually show you where Mai is. I can actually show you her Z ability over here. This specific Mai, show you the Z ability, 25%. So yeah, you think about the future crossover for the team, and it'd actually benefit you that way. If I take off her, it would work like that. But then I could also go with take off this one here, leave her there and actually put this one on the leader slot here. These two are fine, like second form transforming Cell and Zamasu will be fine because they're future, which actually allows them to get Mai's Z ability. But yeah, that's what I'd do if I was running regen. Just gave you multiple options depending on what you have. Build in accordance to the best thing you can put together. Okay, next up we got Future. Now Future's obviously a very powerful team, especially with the release of Ultra Goku Black Rose, but having this transforming Cell could actually be an addition to your team if you wanted to have a red to take out any yellows you may encounter. So what I've got here is actually I've got a Zenkai buff for Zamasu, and I've got a double Zenkai buff for Cell. So you can see here I've actually got Rose, who actually Zenkai buffs a red powerful opponent, which is obviously going to help Cell because he's a powerful opponent. So let me even go to the character list and actually show you his specific tags so you can actually take that in properly. If we go to show details, you see at the bottom he has the powerful opponent tag, so he's getting that Zenkai buff right there. If I go back to the party formation, you can see Trunks and Mai, who are the newer Zenkai, sorry, they Zenkai buff Future, so that's also going to be beneficial to Cell. Cell is just very versatile, man. I'm loving it. I've Zenkai buffed Zamasu, but if you really wanted to, you could also Zenkai buff Goku Black with like this Vegeta here, or you could actually use where's the Gohan, the one arm Gohan, this one here. I wouldn't go for this one because his Z ability is blast based, but the Zenkai buff still works for Rose, but it depends on who you want to prioritize, to be honest. I'm just giving you guys the option. So it could go either one of those, because I'm pretty sure Vegeta as well. He unfortunately doesn't buff Future. But regardless, it actually works. You just have to move around a bit. So if you wanted Cell to actually get that Z ability, what you'd actually do is put him on the leader slot, and then you'd actually have Ultra Rose still getting his full Ultra ability. It's based on the amount of Future members that are on the battlefield. If you look over here, Future battle support members. So if there's 6 Future battle members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then himself 6. So that would actually still work. You just take him off the leader slot, put Cell on the leader slot, because these two here are still God Key members. So he's getting the Rose and Zamasu, they're still getting the Z ability from Vegeta, even though he doesn't buff Future. You just gotta move the pieces sometimes to actually get exactly what you want, you know, and you still be able to build the team. Another option you might want to consider if you wanted to actually have HP, which is actually very important alongside some defenses, but HP specifically in this case, Mai is coming back. Spoke about her on regen, but Mai is very important. Future girls, 25%. You could put her anywhere and she would actually still buff the team. I'd advise taking off one of the Zenkai buffs to Cell if he's going to be on the leader slot, and that would go either way. Let me actually just compare Rose's Z ability. So you can see here 35% strike, attack and defense. That's looking sturdy, I'm not even going to lie. And then we've got Trunks and Mai, 35% strike, attack and defense. It doesn't even matter who you take off, to be honest. It doesn't even matter. Just, you know, put on the HP buff and then it'll work out all the same. Ultra Rose still getting his full Ultra ability because they're all Future members, so you don't lose anything. It's all good. Future's pretty much easier to build, and it's actually a very reliable team, so this is what I'd go for. I'd definitely run these two as mains, and then I'd obviously have Cell, who is the video unit. Okay, so the final team of the video, we've got androids. Now androids, there's not a lot of options, to be honest, and you have to be very particular with what units you use and how many stars you have. The stars is going to make the biggest difference, because android is not a team that can especially keep up. Not to say that if you don't have it at the highest level it can't keep up, it definitely can, but you're going to need to have it at the highest level to really want to compete. So here you can see I've got a triple Zenkai buff. I'm just going to keep it simple and show you the Zenkai buffs at first. So you can see Zenkai ability Fusion 13, Zenkai buffing, you can see Cell, and then you can see Android 21. 3 Zenkai buffs that he's got for his team. All the Z abilities work very well, which is another thing. So they all go around in a circle. Now, what I think is best is to actually sack off one of the Zenkai buffs and heavily add a HP buffer. That would obviously be this Android 21 here, the evil one. You can't mix and match it like I did at the start with regeneration with Future, because there's not a lot of options that you have. Now the Android team, it would work very well if you actually had the tag droids on the leader slot, right? They actually work very well, but obviously in this case we're talking about Cell. But the tag droids are especially good because they can tag switch and they don't have to be fearful of the fact that a blue is going to one-shot them, you know? So obviously we're going to keep Cell in the leader slot, and you're going to take off one of these Zenkai buffs, and I'd probably go with this one here, I'm not going to lie, or the red Cell. But I think I'm going to go with this one here. I feel like Cell, his ability, let me even look at it. It's only strike attack, whereas Fusion 13 is actually just both. is both. They're both not the best, but Fusion for 13 is actually better, so I'm actually gonna take off Cell. And then the HP buff would actually come into play. But the three you'd actually run would probably be 21, the green 21 here, and this one here. You could bring the blue one as well, and then depending on your stars, you could actually swap out one of these with actually this Cell over here. At high stars, he might give you some interesting results, especially if you have the right equipments. But I'm not especially advising for that, especially with the way the meta is. That's just my take. I've seen lots of people actually run these three, which is wild, triple 21, and they actually do numbers. But again, you have to have the specific equipments to actually make them work. So yeah, that's what I'd go for. Android is not a very strong option, but I'm mentioning it because it's pretty much the new Cells thing. Like, he has a lot of Z abilities, which is actually pretty good for a 1% sparking. If I actually display maximum stats, you can see on a Z ability, Future, Regen, and Androids. Obviously, those three teams are going to make the video. Okay, so this is the equipment I'd have for regeneration specifically. So here, I'd actually go for double strike here, keeping him melee, and even though it has ultimate damage and he doesn't have an ultimate, I'd still very much go for the special move damage here. Over here, I'd go for a balance as well. It's got defenses, strike, and some blast attack. Obviously, strike attack is the main thing, so you're upping that more than anything else. And then this third one here, I'd go for this here, where you can actually get defenses, special move, and then he's got a balance of both. The Zenkai buffs and the Z abilities should pretty much cover, but there are some other options that I will consider depending on how you wanted to build them. So if you wanted to go a bit more of a defensive route, where is the equipment? This one here, you could actually get defenses per every regeneration member. If you wanted to make him a bit more stocky, then you could obviously choose from which defense you want on the middle slot, which is dope. And I think that's everything I'd actually recommend for specifically regeneration. So if you wanted to go find these equipments, this one here, Z Medal Equipment Shop, that's the first one. The second one here, you can see over here how you can get this. The Awakening is here. I'm counting on you, memory, but I believe it's actually from the here you go, equipment medal shop, and you can actually get in the Z medal shop, as well as the equipment medal for Android, the equipment collection for Android, sorry. And then for the final equipment on the team, you got this one here for Android Red, and you can obviously get the memory from the Zenkai, which is based on Rush Shop. And let me confirm where you can actually get the unawakened version, which is from the Z medal and equipment medal shop. So 2 exchange shots for both of those, which is dope. I did actually have to show you the defensive one in the scenario that any of you guys want to actually take it on. So let me just scroll down here and find it. You can get this from the equipment collection for regeneration and the Z medal shop. Alright, so I've got this next set of equipments, which is actually for future. This first equipment is really only very useful if you're going to be running like Trunks and Vegeta, or you want to run him with the new Trunks. It's actually a very good unit you could consider. You can get the middle slot, which is pure strike and base strike. You get the base strike regardless, but if you have a Vegeta clan and a future member, you're a future member, and the Vegeta clan member would be the thing you're missing. You could actually get advantage of the strike, which is the main thing, but future and powerful opponent, that's him himself, so he's gonna get that third slot regardless. The middle slot here, the middle equipment here, I already showed you in the regen section, strike attack in the first 2 slots. Then you get some special move from the third slot. And then over here is a sleeper equipment, but you can get some strike attack, which is actually a high amount, but then you can do damage to Saiyans, especially how Ultra Goku Black is very prominent, or even Ultra Gogeta Blue. So you can do a lot of use out of this equipment here. What a laugh. So you can get this from the Z medal shop. The middle one you can get from the Z medal and equipment medal shop, and then the plat here you can only get from the dual coin shop, which is actually inconvenient. If you want to see some substitutes, I like this one here because you can get some pure strike attack when you're running with a Godhu member, which is pretty much guaranteed, and you get some blast attack and some defenses here. You get this from the equipment medal shop, which is actually very, very dope. And I think that's pretty much everything I'd actually consider as far as future goes. There's not that many options, but again, you could go for this one here. You get it from many places. I'll put it on the screen, but the awakened version, you get the memory from the dual coin shop, which is actually quite surprising. I hate when they throw things away in different places when it could all just be in one shot, but hey, maybe it's easier to get that way. I know a lot of people don't like playing co-op, but it is what it is. Now for androids, the equipment's not going to change much. It's pretty much the same equipment that I've showed for the regeneration side and the future side. However, this equipment here is a very big must, because you can get pure strike for every android battle member. You'll be running 3 androids, you can get 18%, which is a lot more than any other equipment on any other team can give you. 18% pure strike with the Zenkai bus that you could have 3. So that's actually very dope. And where you can get this is from the equipment collection and the equipment medal shop. So 2 places for this one equipment. But yeah, although I'm not summoning, I probably will be getting him in the near future. To be honest, he's probably going to return on a banner alongside Trunks, so I'm not really in a rush. But this video will be useful if any of you guys do decide to summon, or you just end up getting him in the future. This video could come up as long as pretty much no new equipment come out that are just game changing, which could be very likely actually, so I'm not going to rule that out. But yeah, that's the end of the video, man. Press the subscribe button, man. We're on this grind to 50,000 subscribers. Appreciate all you guys' love and support. My name is Zakashi, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, man.